Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my Q2 inventory. So I went through all of my products and I counted them all up as I have done in previous inventories on my channel before, and I'm just going to go through them on my phone and tell you where I changed. I did set goals but I didn't write any of them down, so we probably won't go through any of those, but I will just tell you where I'm at, and then probably at the 6-month mark I'll go through the goals. So for my Q3 inventory I will go over the goals that I set. So the first category is like hair. For shampoo, at the last update I had 6 and I now have 3. For conditioner, at the last update I had 4 and now I have 3. For hair masks, at the last update I had 1, I now have 3. For leave-in conditioner, by leave-in conditioner I mean anything that comes in like a cream form that you put on your hands, you do this and you run through the ends of your hair. That's what I mean by that. I did have 2, I now have 1. For dry shampoo, I did have 4, I now have 2. For hairspray, I did have 1, I still have 1. For heat protectant, sorry, my phone's doing a weird thing. For heat protectant, I did have 2, I still have 2. For hair oil, I did have 3, I still have 3. For conditioning sprays, and that's leave-in conditioner that comes in a spray form, I did have 3, I still have 3. For texturizing spray, I did have 2 and now I have 1. For scalp treatments, I did have 0 and I still have 0. So I did go from 28 items within the hair category to 22 items. The next category is skincare, and for facial sprays or toners, I did have 8, I now have 6. For facial serums, I did have 5, I now have 3. For eye cream, I did have 1, I still have 1. For eye serum, I did have 1, I still have 1. For day creams, I did have 7 and I still have 7. Facial oil, I did have 0, I still have 0. Sheet masks, I did have 19 and now I have 13. Face masks, that's anything that's not a sheet mask, I did have 4, I still have 4. Eye masks, I did have 1 and now I have 0. For cleansers, and by cleansers I mean anything that markets itself as a makeup removing hot cloth cleanser, that kind of thing. Not a daily face wash or not a makeup remover either. I did have 3 and now I have 4. For makeup remover I did have 1 and now I have 0. For face wash I did have 4, I now have 3. For face wipes I did have 2 and now I have 0. For night cream I did have 2 and I still have 2. For facial SPF I did have 1, I still have 1. And for lip scrub I did have 1 and now I have 0. So that's gone down from 59 items at the last update to 45 items now within the skincare category. And now this is like body stuff. So deodorant, I did have 3, I still have 3. Perfume, I did have 4 and I still have 4. Scented body wipes, I did have 0, I still have 0. Foot spray, I did have 1, I still have 1. Antibacterial hand gel, I had 26 and I now have 21. I can only attribute that to the coronavirus. Body wash, I did have 10 and now I have 6. Hand cream, I did have 23 and now I have 18. Foot cream, I did have 2 and now I have 0. Body oil, I did have 0 and I still have 0. Body spray, I had 2 and now I have 1. Body lotion, I did have 36 and now I have 32. Shave cream, I had 1, I still have 1. Body scrub, I had 1, I still have 1. Bubble bath, I did have 3 and now I have 2. Sunscreen, I did have 1, I still have 1 and it needs to go in the trash because it's like 3 years old at this point. After sun, I did have 2 and I still have 2. Lip balm, I had 55 and I decluttered a bunch, so now I have 49. Bath oil, I did have 2, I still have 2. Feminine wash, I had 0, I still have 0. And feminine wipes, I did have 1 and now I have 0. Foot masks, I had 0 and I still have 0. Bath salts, I did have 6 and now I have 1. And bath bombs, I did have 8 and now I have 0. So that is a change from 170 items at the last update to 143 items now. And nail polish. Top coat, I did have 7 and now I have 5. Base coat, I did have 2 and now I have 4. Polish thinner, I did have 2 and now I have 1. Cuticle remover, I did have 1 and I still have 1. Nail treatment, I did have 1 and I still have 1. Cuticle oil, I did have 3 and I still have 3. Coloured nail polish, for yellow I had 1, I still have 1. For blue I had 32, I now have 29. For pink I did have 42, I now have 39. For orange, I did have 15. I still have 15. For burgundy, I did have 5. Now I have 8. For red, I did have 17. No, sorry, I had 16 and now I have 14. Glitter toppers. Now, I decluttered some glitter toppers, but I haven't fully decluttered them. What I've done is I've put them in a box because Erin said that she likes the glitter toppers, and I hate glitter toppers, and I was just going to use them and not buy any more. So I kind of half decluttered them because I've not given them to Erin yet. But if she says she doesn't want any and they go back in my collection, then this number will go up for the next update that I do. But at this point, it's in a box, it's separate. I'm considering it decluttered for this particular update. So I did have 10 and now I have 5. Nude polish, I did have 14 and now I have 16. Silver polish, I did have 2 and I still have 2. White polish, I did have 12 and I still have 12. Black polish, I did have 6 and now I have 4. Purple polish, I did have 22 and now I have 26. Grey polish, I did have 12 and now I have 10. Sorry, but for the purple, I did have 26 and now I have 27. Gold polish, I did have 9 and now I have 10. Brown polish, I had 12 and now I have 14. Green polish, I did have 17 and now I have 19. Nail polish remover, I did have 2 and now I have 1. And alcohol, I did have 1 and I still have 1. That's isopropyl alcohol. That's in my nail polish collection because I didn't know what other part to put it in, so that's why that lives there. In the categories that went up, I promise you that this green nail polish from Cirque Colors is the only nail polish that I have purchased this year. Where the categories have gone up is it fluctuates depending on what kind of lighting I have in my room as to whether a nail polish might be showing pink or more nude, and then depending on like, oh, this looks nude today, so it's going to go in the nude category, or I look at the same polish like 3 months down the line and it looks pink, so I put it in the pink category, and that's why some have gone up, some have gone down, but the totals will tell you the difference. So at the last update I had 250 items in this category, and this time round I have 242 items in this category. And lastly, on to makeup. So for foundations, I did have 4 and I still have 4. For concealer, I did have 4 and I still have 4. For cream eyeshadows, I did have 2 and I still have 2. Black eyeliners, I did have 10 and I still have 10. Brow products, I did have 8 and now I have 7. Mascaras, I had 3 and now I have 5. Blush, I did have 39 and now I have 41. Bronzer, I did have 5 and now I have 8. Eye primer, I did have 3 and now I have 2. Regular face primer, I did have 11 and now I have 8. Highlighter, I did have 43 and now I have 37. Lipstick, I did have 32 and now I have 33. Liquid lipstick, I did have 26 and I still have 26. Lip gloss, I did have 20 and now I have 19. Pressed glitters, I have 18 and I had 18 previously. Setting powder, I did have 3 and now I have 2. Chunky lip pencils, I did have 7 and now I have 6. Color correctors, I had 0 and I still have 0. Chunky eye pencils, it's just like eyeshadow but in a pencil form, I did have 9 and now I have 10. Blue eyeliner, I did have 2 and now I have 1. Setting sprays, I did have 5 and now I have 3. Blush toppers, I did have 2 and I still have 2. Liquid highlighter, I did have 3 and I still have 3. And lip pencils, I did have 10 and I still, and now I have 9. Purple eyeliner, I did have 2 and now I have 1. Brown eyeliner, I did have 1 and now I have 0. Lip stain, I did have 2 and now I have 0. Loose pigments or glitters, I did have 10 and I still have 10. Liquid bronzer, I did have 0 and I still have 0. And lastly, my eyeshadow count is 886 eyeshadows. Now, that's including stuff that's in palettes. So like this palette, for example, I have 18 pans of eyeshadow here. This was count as 18 eyeshadows. So I counted every single pan of eyeshadow I have, and I have 886 pans of eyeshadow. That's up from the 870 that I did in January, which is weird because I haven't bought any eyeshadow since then, but I may have acquired some from somewhere, I don't know. But in some of the categories that went up there, in the makeup wise, it's probably, again, just because one time I count it as, oh, this looks more like a highlighter than a blush, and then the next time I count it as a blush instead of a highlighter. That's why the numbers change per category, but the eyeshadows definitely have gone up. And I can say that last update, in this category, I had 1,154 items, and now I have 1,157 items. So in total, it's only gone up by 3, which is bad considering I haven't bought anything, but I'm still going to keep working on my items and get some out, and hopefully next time round, we will see a drop in that category as well. All in all, I'm really pleased with my numbers. I didn't expect to see some categories have such dramatic drops considering they've slowly been creeping up over the past 2 years, but here we are. I'm happy about it. It means that I'm cycling through my collection and nothing in my collection should be super old right now, so I'm really happy about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry I was looking at my phone the whole time, that's kind of the nature of this video, but I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care and I will see you very soon. Bye!